There is an old story, told around fires in many different forests, about the day a great fire broke out at the edge of the wild, the kind of fire that moves faster than any animal can outrun it. Every creature fled toward the river, the only safety for miles. All of them fled the smoke, all but one tiny hummingbird, who turned and flew straight toward the flames. The lion, the elephant, the bear, all the animals the forest had always called powerful, ran for the river without looking back. They were not cowards. They were simply doing the only thing that made sense when something is bigger than you. The hummingbird flew to the river. It dipped its tiny beak into the water and carried away exactly one drop, a single, impossibly small drop, in a beak barely larger than a fingernail. Then it turned and flew back toward the fire. It dropped the single drop of water onto the burning edge of the forest. Then it turned around, flew back to the river, scooped another drop, and flew back again, and again, and again. From across the river, the other animals watched. The elephant, who could have carried 100 gallons in his trunk in a single trip, watched the bird carry one drop at a time and could not understand it. Finally, the elephant called out, "What do you think you are doing? One drop will never put out that fire." The hummingbird did not slow down. It did not stop to argue. Without breaking its rhythm, it called back over its shoulder, "I am doing what I can." The lion looked at his powerful legs, built for outrunning anything in the forest, and realized he had used them only to run away. The elephant looked at his trunk, strong enough to uproot trees, and realized he had used it only to carry himself to safety. For the first time, the animals who had always called themselves powerful began to wonder what power was actually for. The elephant was the first to turn around. He filled his trunk, not with a single drop, but with more water than the hummingbird could carry in 100 trips, and walked back toward the fire. The bear followed. Then the lion, who had no water to carry, simply began clearing burning brush with his powerful paws. What no single animal could have done alone, the forest began to do together. The elephant's water, the bear's strength, the lion's speed clearing paths for the others. And in the middle of all of it, still flying, still carrying one drop at a time, the hummingbird that had started it all. By dawn, the fire was out. Not because of any single animal's strength, but because one small creature had refused to believe that being small meant having nothing to offer. The forest never looked at size the same way again. The lion approached the hummingbird that morning and asked why it had not simply fled like everyone else, given how small its effort must have seemed even to itself. The hummingbird considered this for a moment and said, "I never said my one drop would put out the fire. I said it was what I had. That was always going to be enough to start with." The lesson the forest carried forward was not that the hummingbird put out the fire alone. It did not. The lesson was this: you do not need to be the biggest thing in the room to change everything in it. You only need to stop waiting for your one drop to feel like enough before you decide to carry it anyway.